Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining me. Welcome to Rising11. We are the channel that reviews GMF under 10s in the MYSL League. Yes, we are playing against North Cheshire Juniors. We play them on Sunday and I'm going to have a review of that particular game. It is Grassroots at its finest. It had excellent goals, it had great football, plenty of skills on show as well. But you know, this isn't just a journey about the boys. It's my journey. It's my journey following my twin boys as they kind of navigate themselves through this whole sort of league process. And I've had plenty of lessons to take away from this particular, first half of the season and my last kind of nearly 2.5, 3 years following my kids' journey in this. We'll get into that a little bit later down the line. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a quick review of the match. We'll break it down, some of the key highlight moments, and then we will, as I said, take a look at where I'm coming from and my perspective. And I would love to know what you good people out there, what you think and how your perspective is. So please get it into the comments, how you manage the situations that maybe I'll talk about later. And also, please, if you like the content, hit the old like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Massively helps me out. I really would love to grow this channel. But now let's get on with the actual sort of review of the game. We haven't played North Cheshire Juniors. They are kind of new to the league. I'm not entirely sure whether they've come up or down, but they've been kind of placed in our league, and you can see why. They played really good football. But what we have done this season very well is when we get an early start, we get an early goal, we're very difficult to break down and beat. We've had a very good defensive record this season. We have scored a lot of goals. In this particular game, from the outset, Archie was flat on it, and so was Dan. And they were key components to getting an early goal. Archie had a great shot. Dan was on hand to get the tap in. And then within minutes later, we had Archie, who was firing on all cylinders, straight into it, and he managed to get the second goal, second bite of the cherry of ball that broke in the box, smashed it into the back of the net. The boys went 2-0 up, and we were doing really well. But that was not to take anything away from North Cheshire Juniors, because the boys from Cheshire played some really intricate football at times, some really good passing stuff. And they were really key at moving the ball and playing through us. There was a couple of times they even got nutmegs on us, which I thought was very impressive. Normally it's Ronan on our team trying them, but those guys had a couple of great nutmegs, and they split our defense open at times and got in on top of us. But they got a goal back to 2-1. Great wing play, great ball into the box, cut back. It came from a corner. They worked a corner in, ball came across the box, and the young striker was in the middle, and he took it with a plum, absolutely smashed it into the back of the net. 2-1 at that stage. Game was in the balance, and both teams were playing really well. The football was superb to watch. The weather was horrific. It was absolutely torrential downpour. You can probably see from the state of my footage, I couldn't maneuver the camera very well. At times it was jolty and a bit all over the place, so I was a bit frustrated with that. And in the middle of it, my bloody umbrella went upside down twice. So needed a new umbrella. Camera gear got very wet. Images aren't as good as they should be. It's a very grey day. So yeah, so all that kind of compounded on my end, and I was just glad that the boys were able to put on a spectacle for the parents. So 2-1 down, and I think it was 2-1 at half time, so everything was in the balance. Then we had their young goalkeeper made a brilliant save from Archie in the first half, and then we managed to go on and get the sort of our goals early in the second half. Dan was on fire. I think Dan's had good games this season. Again, this is another game where Dan played up front, and he managed to make those dancing feet work really well. He was kind of working tirelessly, jinking and weaving, and he had a couple of shots that just one in particular that flew wide after a great passing move. And then he had another one where he ran straight through the middle, latched onto one of Theo's long balls. First assist for Theo of the season, brilliant. And then Dan took it. He battled really hard to keep to hold on to the ball, through with the goalkeeper one-on-one, and managed to smash it into the back of the net. Excellent finish from Dan. And then Conlon managed to get one at the back post where I can't remember, someone took a good shot. I think it was Archie, from someone passed it to Archie. Archie sort of weaved his way across the back line, took a shot, goalkeeper made a good save. Conlon was in the right place to bury it in the back of the net. And again, because Conlon's been kind of working so hard on his left foot, because it came to him, he was naturally able to just kind of volley it in, didn't have to think about it. Really good finish. And then Archie then finished it off with a brilliant pass. I think Braden played him in. You can't really see it on the camera because my camera had stopped rolling and the other camera behind the net is a bit misty, so you just kind of see Archie getting the shot and it going back into the back of the net. Another very good finish from Archie. To say, Dan and Archie had very, very good games. Dara also had a very good game. The boys moved the ball around. We passed the ball really well at times, whether it was kind of Ronan playing it out from the back or Dara, you know, trying to find people going forward. So we played really, really good football, and we managed to come away with a really solid victory. A great way to end the year. Absolutely delighted. It's been a brilliant year. The only kind of little downside for me was getting knocked out of the semi-finals in the cup against Macclesfield. That was the only little bit, you know, but that's cup football. That's what happens. You just gotta suck it up and get on with it. But a little bit on my journey over the last couple of years. It has been a hell of a journey. It has been, I know, I've loved watching the boys play. But in this particular game, and I've got to call myself out on this, I got on top of my son Conla, who I felt when he was on the ball did very well, scored a goal, very pleased with him, got a couple of other opportunities, bit unlucky not to get a second one, but I just felt at times maybe he wasn't working hard enough on the pitch. And I think at this level that the boys are playing at, everyone on the pitch has got to work hard, and that just means, and what I mean by that is it's just being able to get out there and run, put yourself into a position where you've got to run. And you've got to track your runner, you've got to go with them. And at times I felt he wasn't really, you know, tracking back properly. So I was shouting at him a little bit just to get back and just to run. But what I subsequently found out is at the end of the match, they said he wasn't feeling 100%. And I think that is the reason why he wasn't able to give 100% out on the pitch. And I suppose my take on it was, well, you know, if you're not feeling 100%, we had substitutes available. So, you know, you can go and talk to the manager and maybe we can switch things up. But he wanted to stay on the pitch and try and give it all for the team, which I respect. I just maybe just didn't see it in that manner, unfortunately, at the time. So I've got to call myself out on that. I've got to sometimes listen and try and understand that it's just football. And, you know, if the kids aren't feeling well, obviously it's my son in particular, then I've got to kind of ease up and cut him a little bit of slack. Because he, you know, for someone who wasn't feeling well, he still had a good game in large parts. It was just some instances where I thought maybe he could have worked harder, where I felt all the other boys in the team were working really, really hard, especially in absolutely shocking conditions. I don't think the conditions helped him either. But these are just all things we've got to take into factor. So I've got to, as a parent, I've got to understand that sometimes your kid's not 100% well, and that, you know, they maybe just need to be, I just need to ease up on them a little bit. But as I said, that's just the way it goes. Ronan was slightly different. Ronan had a really good game, worked really, really hard and gave it everything. Unfortunately, Ronan's desperate to get a goal. He had one really good shot. The goalkeeper made a really good save, and he just can't find the back of the net at the minute. But you know, the boys still had a great victory. So, you know, it's a team game, and that's what I'm learning about. This is a journey. This is about me trying to find out who my boys are. They're trying to find out who they are on a football field, and we're kind of all in this together. And I've just sometimes got to learn that you can be a parent, but you also can kind of look from the sidelines and not necessarily get as involved as much as I do. I probably, you know, I'm there to record the matches. I feel like an assistant coach at times, and I'm just trying to get the boys to shuffle into position, that type of stuff. I let the coaches do all the other talking. But I sometimes maybe get a little bit too involved because I'm so passionate about it. And yeah, I maybe somehow need to take a bit of a back seat and let the boys get on with it, because they're a cracking wee team. I love watching them play. Absolutely delighted with the season they're having. They're having a brilliant run, and I just long hope they continue and see where they can take this journey into the second half of the season. But thank you very much. I'm going to leave it there. If you've got any comments on anything I've talked about, parenting, how you deal with your kids whenever they're not feeling well, or maybe you feel they're not given as much as you would like them to give them, you know, how do you deal with those situations? I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, it's been a brilliant 2025. Hopefully all the videos have been getting better, and hopefully they will carry on getting better in the new year. And I just want to say thank you very much for everyone who subscribed, everyone who's liked. And if you could do the same, I'd be much appreciative. And we shall see you in 2026. That's the end of the season. And yeah, we're going to wrap it up there. So have a great year. Have a brilliant Christmas. Have a brilliant new year. And yeah, we'll see you in 2026.